kind of a situation in which you have to cover a person who doesn't want to be in front, but they have contributed in our society. So how do you handle such cases?
It's actually a really good question. It's something that's never happened to me personally. I can actually, if you want, I can look around for any evidence of that happening with any of our other experienced editors who have had, you know, written a lot more articles than I have, but I've never actually had anyone who I've written about come to me and say, you know, I'd rather not be there. One of the things I will say is especially when dealing with women, most of the articles that are there are not necessarily about women who are unfortunately still active and alive and doing things. So it's a lot trickier writing articles about living people for the reason that you stated, but also because of the gender gap issues. But I can find out more about that. We can kind of maybe talk through how we would come up with some ways to deal with that if we do come across that. As far as the other part of identifying people to write about, we sure want to make sure that maybe we can come up with a Google sheet, and I can talk about this with Mavisha at a later time, that we can come up with a Google sheet that maybe has a one-line statement about why this person's notable, and then make sure that we maybe plug in 3 sources of information that support that. So when we start to work together, we can go to that shared sheet and say, you know, these are the people, we know that this person is notable because we have these 3 sources of information. So maybe we can address it that way. But I can ask around to see, you know, how people have dealt with individuals who didn't want to be on there. Unfortunately, you know, just the nature of Wikipedia, I'm sure there are people out there who are on Wikipedia who don't want to be. Unfortunately, because anybody can write about any public figure, there really isn't much recourse. But it would be interesting. I can ask around. Sorry, I can't answer it a little better than that.
Ariel, that brings me to another comment that I had to make last time. That was about vandalism. And you mentioned that we can add our IDs or something so that if anybody edits that article, we get a notification that somebody has edited it.
Yes.
If there's something that needs to be deleted, we should be able to delete it.
Yes, so you can after you edit an article, you can add it to your what's called your, I'll show you briefly once more and show you what that looks like. Let me just pull up the article. So what it does, if something's on your watch list, when somebody edits it, it doesn't always work perfectly, but when someone edits it, a lot of the times, or some of the time, you will get a notification that it has been edited. And I'll show you what the watch list is. So I have my article here. If you look up here on the top right, there's when I have the article on my screen, I have a watch list here. So those are all the things that I'm watching. Sometimes when you edit an article and you want to keep track of it, you'll see a star here right next to view history. If you click on that, it'll add this article to your watch list, which you can access by clicking on watch list on the top right. Now, typically when you edit or create an article, it's almost always automatically added to your watch list. But if there is an article that you didn't necessarily edit, but you're still interested in watching, if you're still interested in people have worked on it or vandalized it or so forth, you can just click that little star and it will also add it to your watch list as well.
Thank you so much. So that brings us to the end of this session.
Yeah, I just want to thank Mavish and Tehmina and Mehreen from Pakistan Lady Bloggers, because it was, in the last few days, she actually forced us to, look into it and fill up the form and see how we can make a change. And thank you for allowing PLB to be a part of this, because it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Ariel. You have been great. And I'll be in touch with you, everyone, through emails and through WhatsApp messages. Take care. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.